Okay, so ready to weave your way into the world of textile design. We're going deep, deep dive today into absolutely nailing those interview questions, getting you ready, whether, you're just starting out or you're aiming for creative director.
Yeah, it's one of those fields where your portfolio, it only gets you so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you talk about your work, your process, that's what really seals the deal.
And that's where we come in. We've got it. This is exciting. 10 common questions they love to throw your way. And trust me, we're going way beyond the surface here. We're talking about what those questions are really, truly getting at and how to just blow them away with your answers.
And we're going to sprinkle in some insider tips from RoleCatcher's career guides, too.
Yeah, nice.
Plus, how their AI can help you kind of fine-tune those responses for each specific job that you're going for. It's like having a kind of personalized cheat sheet, almost.
I like it. Okay, question number 1, classic. What inspired you to become a textile designer?
Seems basic, right?
But do not fall into the trap of giving some canned robotic response.
Yeah, this is your moment, right? This is your chance to actually really spark a connection with the person across the table from you. So instead of just kind of rattling off a list of artists or movements that you think sound impressive, think about a specific moment or an experience that really just ignited that passion for textiles.
Yeah, was it, I don't know, that trip to a museum where a particular tapestry just blew your mind? Or I don't know if this happened to you, but maybe your fascination with how different cultures use textiles in their traditions.
Totally. Or even something as simple as rummaging through your grandmother's closet when you were a kid and finding these amazing vintage fabrics, right? Anything that really speaks to that personal connection that you have to textiles. And be ready for those follow-up questions too, because they're going to come.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, the interviewer might ask, what was it about that experience that really resonated with you? Or how has that inspiration kind of influenced your design aesthetic?
Right.
This is where you get to showcase your passion, but also your own unique perspective.
And this is actually where RoleCatcher, I think, can give you a little bit of a leg up, right? Because their AI can analyze the company's background and suggest almost ways to connect your inspiration to their brand story, which is
that's huge.
Talk about a memorable first impression.
It's all about finding those points of connection. Okay, are you ready for question number 2?
Hit me.
All right. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends in the textile industry? This one is all about showing them that you are not stuck in a time warp, right?
No outdated paisley prints here.
Exactly. So it's not enough to just be like, oh yeah, I read industry magazines. You got to name drop those publications like a pro.
You're in the know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think Textile World, Women's Wear Daily, or even more specialized journals, that are related to your particular niche within textiles. And don't just mention them. Be prepared to actually talk about a recent article that you read that really caught your eye.
Right. I was fascinated by this recent article I read in Textile World about the growing use of lab-grown leather in luxury fashion.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It just raises all these interesting questions about sustainability and ethics in textile innovation.
Boom. Mic drop. You've just shown them that you're not just aware of trends, but you're thinking critically about what they actually mean for the industry.
Yes.
They might also ask about trade shows you attend or online forums that you follow. So be ready to drop some names.
Yes, be in the know, do your research. And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI, I think, can work its magic because it scans the job description.
Right.
And your response. And it's making sure that you're highlighting the most relevant trends for that specific role.
Oh, that's smart.
So if they're looking for someone who's on top of sustainable textile innovations, you're going to know exactly which ones to mention.
It's like having a personal stylist, but for your answers, making sure you're always dressed to impress.
I like it.
Speaking of impressing, let's move on to question number 3, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. What have we got?
This one's a classic, a real bread and butter. Tell us about your design process, from that initial concept to the final product. They want to peek inside your brain a little bit, see how you bring your ideas to life.
It's story time.
Yes.
But this isn't some free-flowing fairy tale situation. Okay.
Right.
You need structure.
Structure.
Start with your sources of inspiration, then walk them through your sketching, prototyping, all the experimenting, all those delicious details.
Exactly. And don't forget about the technical aspects either.
Ooh.
So mention the software that you use, I don't know, Cielo 3D for 3D garment simulation, or Adobe Illustrator for pattern design. This is your chance to show off your technical chops.
Yes. brag a little bit.
A little bit. Just a little. And again, be prepared for those curveball follow-ups, right?
Right, always.
So they might ask something like, can you walk me through like a specific project where you faced a design challenge and how did you overcome it?
Ooh, I like that.
That's where you get to highlight your problem-solving skills, your adaptability.
Resourcefulness.
All those good things.
I was going to say, speaking of adaptability, RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the job description, again, and your response.
Yeah.
And it's making sure that you are emphasizing the skills and software most relevant to that specific role.
You're so smart.
It's like having a personal career coach prepping you for every possible scenario.
Love it. All right, you ready for question number 4? We're on a roll.
Bring it on.
Okay. This one's interesting. How do you incorporate sustainability into your designs? This isn't just a buzzword anymore, right?
No.
Like this is
important.
This is a core value.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared to go beyond just saying, oh yeah, I use eco-friendly materials.
Right. I mean, I'm a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not going to cut it.
You need to actually demonstrate a deep understanding of kind of sustainable practices throughout that entire textile design process.
The whole life cycle.
The whole life cycle, exactly. Talk about your knowledge of sustainable materials, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But also things like ethical sourcing, responsible manufacturing processes, even end-of-life considerations for your designs. Like, what happens to those textiles after people are done wearing them?
Right.
Have you thought about that?
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So instead of just saying, like, I use organic cotton,
Yeah.
you could say, I prioritize sourcing organic cotton from fair trade certified suppliers who, like, prioritize water conservation and soil health.
Perfect. You've just shown them that you understand the bigger picture of sustainability.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to get specific, name drop, mention certifications like GOTS, which stands for the Global Organic Textile Standard, or like OCOTEX, which basically means that the product is free from like 1 million harmful chemicals that you don't want anywhere near your body.
Right. This is where RoleCatcher swoops in again, because their AI analyzes the company's sustainability initiatives.
Oh, wow.
Right. And suggests ways to tailor your response to align with their values.
It's like a match made in heaven.
Talk about a perfect match.
It's all about finding that synergy. Okay, ready for question number 5? This one's all about those tricky situations that always seem to come up.
Ooh, bring on the drama.
A little bit of drama. Tell me about a time you disagreed with a design decision. How did you handle it? This one, it's not about throwing your colleagues under the bus, right?
No, never.
It's about showing that you can be an advocate for your own ideas while still being a team player.
Right. You can be assertive, but
collaborative.
Collaborative. Yeah.
Exactly. So start by acknowledging that, hey, disagreements are a natural part of any creative process, right? Then kind of walk them through the specific situation, but really highlight your ability to listen to different perspectives and communicate your own ideas in a way that's respectful, constructive.
So it's not just like, well, I told them this is what we should do. It's like, how did you navigate that?
And focus on the outcome, all right?
What happened?
Did you find a compromise? Did you learn something valuable from that experience? Maybe you were proven wrong and you're like, you know what? They had a really good point. I'm going to incorporate that into my thinking next time.
Totally.
Be open to that possibility and be prepared for follow-up questions too. Things like, looking back, would you have handled the situation differently? Or like, what did you learn about yourself as a designer from that experience?
Oh, that's good.
It's all about demonstrating self-awareness and a willingness to learn and grow from those challenging situations. And you know who can help you craft the perfect response to this kind of tricky question.
Is this where RoleCatcher comes in?
You know it.
I had a feeling.
RoleCatcher to the rescue again. So their AI can actually analyze your work experience and identify instances where you did successfully navigate disagreements or like challenging situations.
Ooh, that's good.
Because let's be real, it can be hard to remember those things on the spot, right?
Totally. Especially during a stressful interview, you're like, oh my God. What have I done with my life?
It's like you're that little voice in your head. Remember that time when you totally rocked that presentation, even though your colleague completely disagreed with your approach?
You got this. You got this.
You got this. Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so what's next? What's question number 6?
Okay, question number 6. This one's all about your creative spark. Are you ready?
Ooh, I like this. Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. How do you overcome creative blocks? Because let's face it, even the most talented designers, they hit that wall sometime.
Oh, absolutely. It happens
Yeah.
to the best of us. Designer's block is real.
It's so real. So you can't just say, oh, I take a break and then inspiration strikes.
I stare out the window.
Right, exactly. Or like I go for a walk and I just wait for the muse to hit me. You need to give them specific strategies that work for you.
Love that.
So maybe you have a go-to playlist that always gets your creative juices flowing, or a ritual of like sketching in a particular park.
Or a coffee shop.
Or a coffee shop, yes, whatever it is for you.
Love that.
You know, it's about showing them that you have a process for overcoming those inevitable creative slumps. And again, be ready for those follow-ups.
Of course.
Can you give me an example of a time that you overcame a creative block, and how did that impact the final design? That's your cue to talk about a project where you turned that challenge into a triumph.
Love that. And of course, remember, RoleCatcher can help you identify those success stories from your work history.
Yes.
It's like having a personal PR team.
Yeah.
Highlighting your most impressive moments.
Love it. You ready to tackle question number 7? We are on a roll here.
Let's go. Bring it on.
All right, here we go. Describe a time when you had to work on a team to achieve a common goal. You know, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Cliche, but true.
Especially in textile design, because you're often collaborating with other designers, pattern makers, production teams. It's a whole symphony of creativity.
I love that visual. So tell them a story about a successful team project.
Yes.
But focus on your specific contributions and how you navigated kind of the dynamics of working with other people.
Yes, because it's not always easy.
Not always.
Right. So highlight those soft skills again, like
Yeah.
your communication skills, your ability to listen to different perspectives, your willingness to compromise, and be prepared for those follow-up questions, right?
Of course.
What was your role in the team? What were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful, because it analyzes your LinkedIn profile,
Oh, interesting.
right? And it identifies colleagues who have endorsed you for like teamwork skills.
Oh, that's smart.
And it can even like suggest you mention those specific endorsements during your interview.
Oh, wow.
Talk about social proof.
It's like having a cheerleading squad of former colleagues just like backing you up. Yeah, they're awesome. They're great with teamwork.
I work with them again.
Hire them right now.
They're amazing. Okay, so what is question number 8? Are we ready?
Okay, question number 8. This one's a bit more philosophical. Are you ready?
Ooh, I love a good brain teaser. Bring it on.
All right. How do you balance artistic expression with commercial viability in your designs? It's that age-old struggle.
It is.
Staying true to your vision, but also like creating designs that actually sell.
Right, because, I mean, at the end of the day, textile design is a business.
It is a business.
It's not all art.
It's a business.
So how do you find that sweet spot between art and commerce?
It's a dance. It really is. So start by acknowledging the importance of both aspects. So you're a creative soul. Yes, that's amazing. We love that. But you also understand the need to design products that people actually want to buy.
Right. They have to sell.
They have to sell. They have to resonate with a target audience. They have to meet market demands.
Right. They have to function.
They have to function.
For the people buying them.
Exactly.
So give them an example of a project where you successfully balanced those two sides.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe you designed a collection that was both fashion forward, but also commercially successful.
Yes. Or you found an innovative way to like incorporate sustainable materials without compromising on affordability.
Right.
Which is huge these days.
Huge, because those usually go hand in hand. If you want something that's sustainable, it's going to be more expensive.
And don't be afraid to talk about the challenges. Like, it's okay to say, this was a struggle for me, and here's what I learned along the way. Because it shows that you're constantly evolving as a designer.
Totally. And this is, I think, where RoleCatcher's AI can provide some, like, data-driven insights, because it can actually analyze your portfolio and identify designs that have been, like, particularly successful commercially.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. And suggest that you highlight those projects during your interview.
That's amazing.
So smart. It's like having a personal marketing analyst helping you to really showcase your commercial viability.
I love that. Okay, ready for question number 9? We're almost there.
Bring it on. 2 more to go.
Okay. How do you handle criticism of your work? This one can be tough.
Yeah, no one likes to hear that their designs are like too out there or not practical enough. But this is about showing that you're open to feedback.
Absolutely.
and that you actually use it as an opportunity to grow.
100%. So start by acknowledging that, criticism, while sometimes difficult to hear, is a valuable part of the design process, right?
For anyone, not just designers, but...
Oh, 100%. But especially in a creative field, because it helps us refine our ideas and ultimately create even stronger work. So give them an example of a time that you received constructive criticism and how you actually incorporated that into your design process.
Right. Did it lead you to make a significant change that ultimately improved the final design? Did it help you see your work from kind of a fresh perspective?
Yes. And it's okay to admit that receiving criticism can be tough. Like, you don't have to pretend that you're like, oh yeah, criticism just rolls right off my back. I love it. No, like, it shows that you're human and that you care about the work that you do.
That you're passionate.
Exactly. But the key is to demonstrate how you channel that feedback into, positive growth and improvement.
I love that. And you know who can help you find those growth moments in your career?
Tell me.
You guessed it. It's RoleCatcher.
Always.
Their AI can analyze your work history and identify projects where you received feedback and then, successfully implemented changes or improvements.
That's so helpful.
It's like having a personal cheerleader, just reminding you of your resilience and ability to learn and grow.
I love it. All right, you ready for the final question?
Hit me. What is the final question in our textile design interview marathon?
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, this one's crucial.
This is
your chance to show them that you are genuinely interested in the role, in the company.
Right. And to get a sense of whether this is the right fit for you. Because an interview here,
it's a two-way street.
It's not just about them judging you, you're judging them. So come prepared with a few, thoughtful questions. Don't just be like, so what's the salary and what are the benefits? Those are important, but save those for later.
Yes, exactly. Save that for when you actually get the offer.
Exactly.
Right.
Ask questions that kind of reveal your understanding of the company's culture, their design philosophy, the specific challenges and opportunities of the role. Yes, be specific. For example, you could ask something like, what are some of the company's sustainability goals?
Love it.
And how does the textile design team contribute to achieving them?
Yes. Or what opportunities are there for professional development and growth within the textile design team?
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Exactly. Those are great questions.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you're not just looking for, a job. You're looking for a career.
A home.
A home.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it for you. And remember, it's a two-way street. It's about finding the right fit for both of you.
Well said. It's kind of like we're giving you this treasure map, right? To success in the textile design world.
I like it.
We've talked about absolutely nailing those interview questions. But now it's okay, you aced the interview, you got the job, now what?
Now the real work begins.
Exactly. Because landing the job is just the first step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then comes the exciting but sometimes daunting journey of actually building your career.
Right. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And that's where I think RoleCatcher's career guide is super helpful because it really does offer kind of a roadmap for aspiring designers like yourself.
Nice. Yeah. What's in this roadmap?
Well, it outlines those typical career stages that you might encounter in textile design, from those entry-level roles all the way up to that coveted creative director position.
Okay, so let's break down these stages a little bit. What can someone who's just starting out, what can they realistically expect in an entry-level role?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, an entry-level textile designer, they're like an apprentice, you know? They're there to really soak up knowledge, hone their skills. So you're probably going to be assisting those senior designers with research, maybe creating mood boards, developing technical drawings. You might even get your hands dirty with some sample creation.
Ooh, fun.
Right.
So it's really all about just learning the ropes, building that strong foundation.
Foundation is key. And speaking of foundations, what are some essential skills that entry-level designers should really be focusing on developing at this stage in their careers?
I mean, I would say technical proficiency is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mastering those design software programs like CLO 3D or Adobe Illustrator.
Essential.
Essential.
Because nobody sketches by hand anymore.
Well, I mean, some people do.
Some people.
But yeah, you gotta
know those programs.
Know the programs. And also, I would say a solid understanding of textile production processes, that's huge.
100%.
Because if you don't know how something is actually made, how are you going to design it?
Exactly. And don't underestimate those soft skills either.
Oh, so important.
So important. So things like Communication, teamwork, time management, even in those early stages, those are crucial.
Yeah, being easy to work with goes a long way.
100%. And as gain experience and confidence, you'll naturally progress to kind of a junior designer role.
Okay, so what does that step up look like? What are some of the key responsibilities of a junior textile designer?
Yeah, so in this role, you're starting to get a little bit more independence. So you'll have the opportunity to take on more kind of independent projects, developing your own design concepts, seeing them through to production. You'll be collaborating more closely with suppliers. You might be negotiating prices, making sure that the quality of the materials meets your standards.
Okay.
So, you're really starting to...
It's like you're leveling up in the textile design game.
Leveling up, exactly. You're taking on more responsibility. You're making bigger decisions.
Higher stakes.
Higher stakes. And with that comes the need for even stronger communication and problem-solving skills, because you'll be presenting your ideas to clients directly, maybe managing budgets for the first time, navigating those inevitable challenges that always seem to come up during that design and production process.
Right. This is where those problem-solving skills really come in handy.
Oh, essential.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to really excel in that junior designer role?
Be a sponge.
Ooh, I like that.
Soak up everything you can from those more experienced colleagues around you. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to seek feedback. Learn from their expertise because they've been there, they've done that. And don't be afraid to experiment and take some risks with your designs, because this is your chance to kind of really develop your unique style, make a name for yourself in this industry.
Love it. So speaking of making a name for yourself, let's talk about that next exciting step up the career ladder, the mid-level textile designer.
Oh, yes.
What does it take to reach this level? And then what does the day-to-day actually look like for a mid-level designer?
So by this stage, you've kind of proven yourself right. You've established yourself as a skilled and reliable designer. So now you're leading design teams, you're managing those larger scale projects, and you might even be mentoring junior designers.
Wow. Okay, so it's like you're managing people now too.
Exactly.
What are some key skills that are essential for success at this level?
I mean, leadership skills become really paramount here, because you're not just managing projects anymore, you're managing people. And you need to inspire them to do their best work. So excellent communication, delegation, you need to be able to motivate and guide your team towards that common goal.
Yeah, you're like the coach.
You're like the coach
of a team.
Exactly.
That's a good analogy.
And, we can't forget about the business side of things, because at this level, you're going to be more involved in those kind of strategic decision-making conversations.
Right, because you see the bigger picture now.
Exactly. You understand how your designs fit into, the market. You're analyzing those market trends, making sure that your designs align with the company's overall goals. You're working closely with those marketing and sales teams, understanding, consumer demand, and really ensuring that your designs are both aesthetically pleasing and commercially viable.
Best of both worlds. That's amazing. It sounds like such a challenging but also incredibly rewarding stage in a textile designer's career.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of rewarding, I think we got to talk about that pinnacle position.
Correct.
Creative director.
Yes. The dream job.
For many.
For many aspiring designers.
So what does it take to reach this level of textile design mastery?
Well, creative director is a visionary leader, right?
Mm.
They're setting the entire artistic direction for a brand or for a company. So they're responsible for developing that overall aesthetic, making sure that there's brand consistency across all the different product lines, staying ahead of the curve when it comes to trends and innovation.
It's like they're conducting the textile design orchestra. They're bringing all the elements together.
The perfect harmony.
The conductor of the textile orchestra.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a highly demanding but incredibly fulfilling role. It requires that rare combination of creative talent, business acumen, and exceptional leadership skills. So for those aspiring creative directors out there, what advice would you give them on their journey to the top?
Never stop learning.
Ooh.
Never stop evolving as a designer, because this industry is constantly changing. So you got to stay curious. You got to embrace those new technologies. Never be afraid to push the boundaries of your own creativity.
Don't get comfortable.
Don't get comfortable, because as soon as you do,
it's over.
It's over, because somebody else is right behind you ready to take your spot and build a strong network. So go to those industry events, connect with other designers, seek out those mentors who can guide you and inspire you along the way.
Find your people.
Find your people, exactly. And speaking of mentors, did you know that RoleCatcher can actually connect you with experienced professionals in the textile design industry?
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll tell you about it.
Tell me.
So they have this feature where you can create a profile and you highlight your skills, your interests, your career goals.
Wow.
And their algorithm, it actually matches you with potential mentors who kind of align with your aspirations.
That's really cool. It's like a matchmaking service, but for your career.
Exactly. And having that mentor can be invaluable, especially in a creative field like textile design.
Totally, yeah. Just having someone who, can offer guidance, support, or even just like a listening ear, as you're navigating the challenges and the triumphs of your career journey.
100%, because it's not always easy. And we can't forget about the importance of personal projects. So even if you're working full time, having those side hustles, those passion projects allows you to kind of explore those new ideas that you're really excited about, experiment with different techniques and really, really just let your own creativity kind of shine through.
Yeah, it's like a testing ground.
Exactly. And they make for such great conversation starters during job interviews too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Imagine an interviewer's like, so tell me about a project you're particularly proud of. And you're like, oh, well, let me tell you about my latest sustainable textile art installation that I've been working on.
In my spare time.
In my spare time, right. Or like, I just won this award for this incredible collection of hand-woven tapestries I've been doing.
Yeah, it's such a good way to really stand out from other candidates.
100%. It shows that you're not just going through the motions. Like, you are deeply invested in your craft and you're constantly kind of pushing the boundaries of what textile design can be.
Yes, love that. So we've talked about like the traditional career path, but the textile industry is constantly evolving. What are some kind of exciting trends that are out there right now that aspiring designers should be aware of?
Oh, there's so many. But one area that I'm particularly excited about is the rise of smart textiles.
Smart textiles. Okay, I've heard this term thrown around, but tell me more.
Okay, so basically smart textiles, also known as e-textiles, are fabrics that are embedded with digital components. So things like sensors, actuators, microprocessors. And these components, they can actually sense and react to different stimuli. So like heat, pressure, light.
So we're talking about fabrics that can think and respond to their environment.
Essentially, yes.
That's wild.
It's very sci-fi.
It is. It's like,
Yeah.
what? So cool. What are I have so many questions. What are the possibilities there with textile design?
I mean, the possibilities are literally endless.
Ooh.
Right. But imagine like clothing that can monitor your vital signs.
Okay.
Or regulate your body temperature. Or even like change color based on your mood.
It's like straight out of a science fiction movie.
I know, but it's happening.
That is so cool. And then what else? What was the other one you were talking about?
Oh, biofabrication.
Biofabrication. That sounds intense.
It's very sci-fi. This is where like designers are actually exploring ways to grow textiles from living organisms.
Okay, how is that even possible?
So we're talking about things like bacteria, fungi.
Okay.
And essentially what happens is designers, they're cultivating these microorganisms in like a very controlled lab environment, and they're providing them with nutrients and kind of manipulating their growth to form specific shapes and textures.
So it's literally like textiles that are grown, not manufactured.
Exactly.
What? That is wild.
It's very cool.
It's like, what are the advantages of using biofabricated textiles?
Well, I mean, for one, it's an incredibly sustainable and eco-friendly approach to textile production.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right, because these materials are biodegradable, and they often require far less water and energy to produce than traditional textiles.
Okay, so it's good for the planet. It's probably less expensive.
Exactly.
Are there any drawbacks? Or is it just the future?
I mean, it's still a relatively new field. So, we're still figuring out kind of the best ways to scale up production.
Yeah.
And ensure the durability and the longevity of those materials.
Yeah.
But the future is looking bright.
So what kinds of things what can you do with biofabricated textiles?
I mean, again, the possibilities are kind of endless.
Okay.
We're talking about textiles that can be used in everything, from fashion and footwear to medical implants, even architecture. Just very cool.
Wow. So for like aspiring designers who are really passionate about sustainability and kind of pushing those boundaries of innovation, these emerging fields sound like really exciting opportunities.
Absolutely. And platforms like RoleCatcher, they're making it easier than ever to connect designers with those resources and mentorship and those job opportunities. So the future is really looking bright for this industry.
Love that. It is an exciting time to be a part of this industry. It's constantly changing and evolving.
So dynamic. And speaking of excitement, we haven't even touched on the world of textile art yet.
Oh, we're gonna have to save that for another deep dive.
We'll put a pin in that. But we'll be back soon with the final part of this episode where we're going to be answering some frequently asked questions about this industry, textile design, and I'm going to give you even more valuable insights and advice to help you achieve all those career goals. So don't go anywhere.
Okay, so we've like scaled those interview question mountains. We've got our maps, our roadmaps all set for those career paths. So feeling like a textile design expert yet?
I mean, almost. But before we unleash you on the world, I think we got to tackle some of those like frequently asked questions about the industry. You know, those nitty-gritty practical things that people might be wondering.
Yes, love it. Like, what's a typical day like for a textile designer? And spoiler alert, it's not all like glamorous photo shoots and like runway shows.
Yeah. Sadly not, although those are fun. A typical day, I would say, it's really a mix of those creative and technical tasks. So you might be researching trends 1 minute, then sketching out new designs, then working with CAD software, or you might even be, sourcing materials or doing some quality control in a factory.
Right, so it's a balance.
It's a balance.
Of like artistry and practicality.
Yes.
And that brings us to another question that I think we get a lot, which is, what are some of the biggest challenges facing textile designers today?
Ooh, that's a big one. I mean, sustainability, it's huge, right?
It's a big one.
So designers are increasingly challenged to create textiles that are beautiful and functional while minimizing that environmental impact. And that involves like everything from sourcing those eco-friendly materials to reducing waste and emissions in the production process.
Yeah, it's not just about the design itself anymore.
Exactly.
It's about the entire life cycle and how it impacts the planet.
100%. And consumers they're more aware of this than ever before. So it's not just a trend anymore. It's something that designers really have to have at the forefront of their mind.
It's a core value.
It is.
Okay. Speaking of consumers, another challenge, I would say, is just like staying ahead of those ever-changing trends.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right.
Fashion is fickle. What's in today is out tomorrow.
So true.
See, you gotta have your finger on the pulse constantly. What are people gonna want next season, next year? It's like...
You're almost like a fortune teller.
It is. You're designing the future, essentially.
So cool. Okay, so what advice would you give to our aspiring textile designers out there who are just starting out?
Network. Network. Network.
I feel like we say this in every episode.
I do, but it's so true.
It's the truth.
Right. So go to those industry events, connect with other designers, reach out to those mentors, build those relationships. It's key.
Yeah. It's not just about what you know, it's who you know as well.
It is.
Don't underestimate the power of internships as well.
Yeah.
Or like volunteering your time to just gain that valuable experience.
Oh, 100%. And with platforms like RoleCatcher, connecting designers with job opportunities and mentorship, it's never been a better time to be an aspiring textile designer.
Totally. Speaking of RoleCatcher, can we talk about their AI-powered portfolio review?
Oh, yes.
Because I feel like this is a game changer for aspiring designers.
I've heard it's amazing.
So tell me more about it.
Okay, so you upload your portfolio, right? And RoleCatcher's AI will actually analyze it. And it'll give you feedback on your design aesthetic, your technical skills. It might even suggest areas for improvement.
Wow, so it's like having a personal critique from a seasoned design professional.
Essentially, yes. But without that kind of nerve-wracking in-person studio visit.
Right, in your pajamas.
Exactly, in your pajamas.
Okay, are you ready for one last frequently asked question?
Hit me.
Okay. What are the most important qualities for success as a textile designer?
Ooh, good question. I would say passion, first and foremost. You have to love this. You have to love textiles, the feel of them, the history, the endless possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
That passion is going to fuel you. It's going to fuel your creativity. It's going to help you persevere through those challenges because not every day is going to be glamorous, let me tell you.
Totally. You have to really, really want it. And kind of on that note, never underestimate the power of perseverance. Because you're right, the textile industry, it's competitive. So that resilience, the adaptability, the willingness to learn from your mistakes, those are essential.
So essential. And never stop learning, because this industry is constantly changing.
Yeah, if you're not learning, you're kind of already falling behind.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we have covered so much ground in this deep dive. We talked about, how to ace those interviews, how to navigate this ever-evolving industry.
The career paths, those exciting trends, and then really practical everyday advice.
Yeah, and remember, this is just the beginning. The world of textile design, it's vast, it's constantly evolving, and there are so many opportunities out there for creativity, for innovation, and really to make an impact.
To make a difference in the world.
Exactly.
So to all those aspiring textile mavens out there, embrace those challenges, never stop learning, and really let your passion be your guide.
I love that. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of textile design. Until next time, happy designing.